So, how are you all? I feel like basically I'm feeling today like because we've had so much going on for me. I'm just gonna do the channeling. Sometimes I really like to get into some conversations about things that are going on or how we're all feeling and things like that. But right now, I think it's just a drop in with Osairah. I think that's what we're all here for. So it looks like a perfect time to start. And I'm setting that aside. And so they are going to just come in like they do and offer anything and everything that is, I guess, the most important things for today. And yeah, feel free if there's things that come up or questions, thoughts, go ahead and type those in. That's always fun for us to get to interact with it that way. If not, we all know they could talk for a really, really long time. So I'll see you all soon again. Indeed, greetings to you, dear ones. We are that one known as Osairah, and we are in fact overjoyed to be in this alignment with you all. We are recognizing you. We are recognizing the way in which it took, what it's taking to be in this configuration, this way of energetic synergy. We are overwhelmingly happy for this opportunity, as always, to connect with our beloved human friends in this experience of the third dimensional reality, of which you brave ones are participating in an extraordinary time, in an extraordinary timelines in your own lifetime, and also on this planet as it is occurring in the ways of the third dimensional reality. One of the recognitions this day is a very strong awareness to conversations about that which is your worldly experience, that which you are all participating with on a collective level. We will kind of, what you could say, jump right in on some of those things. There are changes, as you are recognizing, energies that are shifting your planet, energies that are shifting people, human consciousness. Your physical bodies are also changing and upgrading and aligning. Your consciousness is as well. There are various times where human history has not so much, what you would say, made the link to the fact that these kinds of shifts were happening even in what you would call the past times, that now people are more prominently aware of these shifts happening in a more conscious or conscious way. Now, as you are walking the road of your own individual lives, you are indeed recognizing the way in which outer, on some level, is reflecting the inner changes that you are all kind of going through. And really is a collective agreement. And many of you, especially those of you who are listening now, who are participating now, are aware of these things as they are happening. Oh, there is something outside of me that is in some ways mirroring me within. How shall I look at that? How shall I participate with that? How is it that I can add to the pot in a positive, transformative, healing, helpful way? And one of the things that we say, many people say, many beings say, many of your teachers say along the way is that, as we do say, it all begins within. So one of the things we often talk about too is how it is that your reality reflects your inner experience, your inner reality. And that is a very important awareness for you to consider on a regular basis. When you are experiencing anything, what is it that is gifting you or showing you? And when you look out into the bigger, wider picture of the world and other people and their experiences, there's something in that too, inherently for you to digest, for you to understand, for you to grow with. And so the expansion that is happening on a collective level as consciousness is growing on your planet, you are all kind of, how shall we say that, feeling the growing pains of that expansion. Some of you take it for it is a period of a chunk of time. You are in that feeling for a longer time than some others. Maybe there's a one day that you're feeling it, and the next day you're feeling free, light, and freer again. So there are waves to this process. That is one of the things we would like to acknowledge too. The consciousness of humanity rising in ways is a very large topic that many of you are having conversations with. And we always like that conversation too. The way that you are expanding really is determined upon how it is that you offer to yourself your own value and worthiness, your own love. We know this seems at times somewhat, how should we say that word? Looks like trite. Maybe trite is the word trite. Or it seems like a thought that many people bring up. Or maybe you even have gotten tired of the idea, of my self-worth, of my self-care, of my self-love. Well, one of the things we are noticing with some of our human friends on a regular basis is that the self-love within is not really happening. And we don't mean that you aren't loving yourself, and we are not meaning this to be very black or white, one thing or the other extremes. We are talking that there is room for the expansion of your own self-love, your own true self-love. That is when we are saying it with the languaging, we are noticing energetically that to say those words does in fact trigger most people to a certain extent. It triggers things in the consciousness of mostly, I don't know how to really truly love this self that I am. And even when there is periods or expansion moments where there is alignments to feeling, yes, I'm in a place where I'm loving this self, this being, this one that I am, this personality, as well as this soul, this spirit, this emanation, and also this physical body, which is all of it. You are all of those things. When you are in those moments and you feel some self-love, therein lies an extraordinary opportunity for your own expansion in your own consciousness and collective plugging in to a greater level of your own living. So when our human friends are triggered, we like to talk about or bring that into an alignment frequency of how it is that you plug into your own frequencies of self-love. How it is that you offer yourself the kinds of energies. And we don't just mean the things like nurturing the self, nurturing yourself on a physical level, nurturing yourself even at an emotional level. We are really breaking this down to, although those things are helpful, and yes, they do add up. And yes, please do keep doing those for yourself because they are lovely and it is a part of the walk. And the energy underneath is what we are really talking about. It is to come to an inherent, absolute knowing. To love yourself as a perfect being of consciousness that has opted to take on a human form in a physical life again, and to expand in that life for your soul's development as a consciousness. Now, the 12 of us this day are absolutely recognizing each one of you and how certain levels of that is connecting to the way that you are in some ways blocked and opened. Do not have chastising upon yourself for the idea of I'm blocked at all. Recognize that as a process of the part of the wholeness of the actual natural order of process. The process that you are doing to come to your fullness is in the way in which you recognize even that there are blocks. If there feels like an energetic block to something within you, that energetic block is an actual part of the expansion for you. For you. For the expansion of the consciousness that you are. And when you recognize that and plug into that, you align yourself with a frequency that is ultimately the higher aspects of self and the connection to multidimensional realms of your own existence, ultimately saying to you that you are more than just this one body, this one personality, this one lifetime. You are all of those, all of them, all of that which you are, which ultimately plugs into the infinite intelligence and creation that you are, which is true source, which is the breath of life, which is all creation. That is actually who and what you are. And so one of the things we find most like a trigger point that is possible for you to trip the trigger to move into a new space with is that if you remember that, what we just said, the allowance to the way in which you can remember that you are ultimately, literally creation itself. You are that. There can be such a reverence, a true love for all that you are when you plug into that. I am infinite intelligence. I am all creation. I am all light and love. I am literally the breath of life. Now we know, we have said this for many years, these kinds of thoughts, these kinds of words, and literally created some of these same sentences. And what we also know about this, dearest ones, is that it takes what it takes, as you say on your planet. It takes what it takes for you to remember who and what you really are. And you, each and individually and collectively, have structured, essentially, created the ways in which you would take what it took to get to where you want to be in this lifetime as the expression of the infinite intelligence. And so if you can think of that, if you can remember that, if you can feel into that, if you can pull that in, you can remember that there's not one thing that is wrong here then. There's literally not one thing that is wrong here then. If you are moving along that trajectory in any capacity, bringing continual, trying to get back to remember who you really are, to opening that portal, to remembering, to feeling, to owning, to operating, to offering all that you really are, most of you will in time you will experience the sloughing off of that which is not you any longer. And the rise to the top becomes who you really are. And when you plug into that on a regular basis and give it the respect, the honor, the reverence, the connection, the receiving of that which you are, if you allow yourself to expand with that, it grows within you and you become anew. And the new that you would be becoming is what you really are. It's like peeling it all back and remembering the truth. And that does all, the truth does all connect to your own inherent self-love. Self-love, love of self does not mean so much of the way it has been skewed on your planet, the way that it has been language, the way the language has put in as if it is a negative to be in love with the beingness that you are, the self. There is nothing wrong with this self. Call it the big S or the little s. This is just a piece of a conversation that is important to add into the whole pot of the beautiful puzzle that you are creating of that which you came to experience. So talking about the self is not a negative at all. This is what you are. It's the same as talking about the physical being of the body, the literal amazingness of the cells that are in continual conversation to create the vehicle of that which your soul can be carried through a third dimensional form lifetime experience. This is magnificence in action. This is infinite intelligence in action. And that is actually what and who you really are. Talking about it as the self does not demean. Actually, what we are trying to help you remember is that the self that you are, if you can get into a place of really having a great appreciation for you, that which you are, all aspects, even as we have often talked about as well, the aspects of your stuckness, the aspects of your darkness, the aspects of your sadness, the aspects of your grief, the aspects of where it is that you play small, the aspects of your littleness, that if you get into a place of seeing all those parts of you, feeling into all those parts of you, you begin to remember the truth. That is acceptable too. It doesn't mean you stay there. It doesn't mean you live there every second of the day. It doesn't mean that you operate and throw that all out only to the world or to others or to yourself even. It just means you give yourself a bit of room with that part of yourself and give it a little honor and say, I see you, that part of you. And yet I don't like it, or maybe I just want to let it go. You honor it and you move with it. You work with it. You let the energies go. Like what we said is the sloughing off of that which you are really not. Well, in this life, you have given yourself all kinds of opportunities to do this. How? We often hear this literally this phrase from our human friends when we're having a version of this conversation with some of them. We hear this question, but how do I love myself, Osairah? I feel the farthest thing from that. I don't even know what that means. And some of this that we have said is a part of that. And if we could boil it down to some words that we will put together energetically to send out on a vibrational field of connection to you that has actually coded energy within it, we would tell you to remember that you are truly precious. If and when you can take that thought to yourself and take it in as an energy to your heart space, to that intelligence here within the physical body that is an electromagnetic field of consciousness as well. It works with all parts of you. If you bring that sweetness in and you drop that into your heart space and you say to yourself, no matter what has been, what has occurred, what my environment created, what my response to my environment created, what my parents created, what my life experience has been, what I have won and what I have lost, who I have been, who I have not been. No matter all of that, there is preciousness here, for I am life. You are life. You are a part of the collective consciousness of life that is expressing itself not only within you, but also as you are perceiving it in the third dimensional reality experience called life on planet Earth in this timeline at this moment. You are perceiving and receiving the infinite intelligence of creation that you are manifesting as a part of yourself outside of you. You are collectively agreeing to do this. Your collective agreements are actually magnificent. They are truly a part of a spiritual revolutionary awakening for humanity. And the time has come. We are overjoyed, as always, to be a part of this conversation and connection. We are recognizing how at times it feels utterly impossible for many of you to carry on. We know this place for you. We recognize it in many of you. It feels utterly defeating and impossible, and you do not know your way. And we understand that. And we say to you that there is the light within you. Not just we outside of you, and though we are not, technically, we seem to be in this version of the experience, and yet there is truly no separation. We are a part of you. And so, in that way, to remember that you are having a conversation with aspects and considerations of higher, how should we say that? Remembrances and remembrances of you at a different stage of your experience. Are you all called Osairah or the family of light? Well, on some level, we could simplify and say, yes, haha, indeed. For you would not be here as a part of this family of light if you weren't at a heart soul Infinite intelligence, absolutely a part of that. And we say yes. And what your experience is in this lifetime, the way you are participating to pull yourself to the perfect people, places, situations, families of light, is directly connected to the proportion of that which you have already participated in lifetimes previously and simultaneously occurring. The difficulty for our human friends on the third dimensional reality of what you are calling this year of this timeline on planet Earth is you have forgotten, and you are in an experience that has its laws for that forgetting. So you are participating in an agreement. It's just the same as some of our human friends say. How should we say that? You gather with a group of friends, and you are going to play a game board. And some of your human friends come in who do not know this game, and some of them do. Some of them know the rules and never have to look back at this piece of paper that maybe tells you how to play the game. And then there are some who come and they've played the game before and they cannot remember at all. How do we play this game again? Can you read me the rules, or can you remind me? Can you remind me? I can't really get it. I don't really remember. And then there are some who absolutely don't know the rules of the game at all and never have played it before. This is how you do it here in this, we are going to call it a container. We're going to call it this container of life at this moment. That's how we're going to use the phrase. So you play the game together, and some of you share information, and some of you help each other, and some of you keep each other at a distance and you want to win it all. And some of you don't even like to play the game at all, and you try to lose and you want to get out. There's all kinds of ways that you play the game here in this seeming solid reality. Well, we are going to give you one of those, how should we say those? One of the pieces on the instruction card. We're going to give you a key code, essentially. And energetically, this is not the same kinds of things when we speak about key codes on different levels. This is just an internal experience for you as an individual to carry around in a remembering kind of way. We are hot on the idea today, this day, for you to be remembering. Remember who you are. Carry this on a consciousness level as if it is playing a song all around you all of the time. But when you forget that the song is even playing, it becomes the background noise, right? And the background noise kind of fades into what you call white noise. Well, we say, well, the white noise is always there. Plug back into it. Hear the beautiful song. Remember. And one of the pieces on that card to remember is, as we said before, love this one, the innermost being of your heart, your soul, yourself, this one who is carrying this consciousness throughout timelines, throughout continual experiences on different timelines, even now simultaneously. Plug into your infinite intelligence. Most people tend to not even take the time to recognize they are playing the game. You only recognize it when you're sitting at the game board. We are saying, remember it all the time. Remind yourself all the time. When you are walking to go to eat at a restaurant, walk into the restaurant and remember, that's right, I'm playing this beautiful game. How do I center into the self and experience the joy of this one that I am, as if this is a magical experience? By doing so, we are not just having you live a magical life so you are checking out of reality. No. That's not what we are saying at all, dear ones. What we are actually referring to is how it is that you will then contribute to the collective whole by adding that energy in to what is proliferating outside of you, seemingly outside of you all day long in the game that you are playing in the world. So access the magic by remembering. Magic being the love, the light, the truth, the wisdom, the infinite intelligence. Some of you say to us when we talk about this, that is a lot, Osairah. That is a lot for me to be able to navigate all the time when I've got the bills to pay, the kids to feed, the things to do, the life, the relationships, the deaths that are happening, the experiences that are happening, the creations I'm ready for. I'm ready for these creations. And so you say, how can I do all of that while being a part of all of this? And we say, doing this creates all of that. The more you center in to the heart space of the truth of that which you are, rather than getting up and thinking that outside of you is going to make the inside feel better. That's simply said, and you've heard it before, but it's so very, very a capital T truth. Inwardly, you create. Externally, you experience what you have created inwardly. What happens for people at that point when they start to get that, and maybe play with it and practice it a little, what comes back ultimately at some point in that piece of the process is the recognition then that I am responsible. I am responsible for this life, for my life, for the experience, for my reactions, for my creations, for my uncreations, the things I'm not creating. Is that the right word? Not quite, but you see what we're saying. The ways in which you are personally, as a soul, in an incarnated body, in the world of form that you wanted so desperately to be here, and you did. We promise you, you really, really did. And you do. You come to experience it all. And in that way, when it comes back to you, and you say, whoa, wait a minute. If you're saying, or if they're saying, or if I've heard it all enough times to realize and remember that, yes, in some way, I am responsible. This does not mean to give yourself shame or chastise yourself for what you have created that you have not liked. That's a part of the game too. Remember the game board. There are parts of the game, depending upon the game, there are things that happen, what you play on the game, when you move your little avatar, you move your little thingy on there and you move it around and you recognize, dearest ones, oh, I have to slide over here and I got to go into this spot. And I don't like that spot because I was actually over here and I was really doing good over here on that spot. But now I've had to backtrack and I had to slide into that spot. Maybe it's what on the game board even is called jail. You are in the jail over there. And ultimately, what happens is that's not where you have to stay. And you recognize that you created that somehow in the game board playing. And it doesn't have to be as a quote big of a deal as some of you make it. So there's no need at all to shame or blame or feel bad or hurt yourself upon the idea that, ooh, these creations that I did, I'm not so much liking. No, it's just to recognize, oh, well, that happened and here I am. And I get to learn from that and I'm playing the game. So how do I want to reframe and how do I want to move my avatar upon the game board this day? How do I want to set my trajectory? Well, it starts within. It really starts within. Many of you already know this concept. Many of you have been practicing being into certain alignments with this, but we think it is noteworthy for you to pull yourself back in and see how it is. No matter where you are on this path, how can you expand this? How can you recognize your own inherent love, your own inherent self-care, self-love, remembrance of the allness of who you are? How can you fall? Truly, as some say, the words are fall in love with you. Really fall in love with who you are. Not from the egoic standpoint of survival, to grandize yourself in any way, shape, or form. It's just to simply remember the magnificence of that which you really are, your divinity, your divine truth with a capital T, your true nature. Because no matter what a person plays on the role of their life experience, some of the ones you would see would be playing a role of not so good or villain, etc., etc. No matter what that looks like to our dear friends and the world of form and the experience and how you project the judgment about that, you ultimately all are completely connected with playing the game together. You are actually together in this. You are in the alignment and connected together. You are co-creating, co-collaborating the reality experience as you are perceiving it each and every moment that you have the physical body and you return with the focused intention of the I am present in this lifetime experience. Now, some of you are also jumping into new timelines. Some of you are jumping into future timelines. Some of you are recognizing the past timelines. Some of you are doing that simultaneously. Some of you are recognizing a lot more of the expanded experience of what it is to be a part of living. And what we mean by living doesn't just mean the physical body. We are talking ultimately about the life expansion of the consciousness that you are. When those of you are experiencing these experiences to feel, oh, there's more here, and then you get pulled back into yourself in the small self, and we mean that small self by the part of you that starts to get into judgment and fear and self-doubt and unworthiness, and start to get into the judgment of self over and over and over again. That is where we say that is the most potent opportunity. Please recognize, wake yourself up for those moments so that you can pull yourself into, that's right, how do I find love here? How do I remember who I really am in this place where I am really round and round and round of not being good enough, not doing it right. I've done it like this for so long. I don't like myself here. I behaved like that. I have regret here. All of that, however that looks, dearest ones, that is your opportunity to bring the light. You cannot bring it out to others until you bring it to yourself. Well, we should say, that is not necessarily exactly so. Yes, you can offer. Yes, that helps you heal. Yes, you offer light to others and it comes back to you. So we're not saying that as such a black and white statement, but we are saying that the more you do that with this one, with the one within, you won't have to work so hard to be the light that you are to help and affect others. It will naturally be a part of the existence of the creation of the energy field around you and as you. And so naturally, by natural law, the universe will pull the people who need to be near you, or the connections or conversations will pull towards you, and you will be that. And that is the transformation in action. That is the way in which this creation is offered to you as a way for ultimately the way in which humanity is changing. And you are a part of that. You desired to be a part of this timeline, to be a part of that connection. We are not just speaking to a few of you. Ultimately, we're speaking to every human being who is living on this planet. Ultimately, what we mean by that, too, is that many of the people who are on the planet are playing their perfect parts. There is nothing wrong. This is sometimes, we know, a heavy trigger for people. We know that this can be a very big sticking point where when we say even those ones that you're judging, or it looks like they're carrying out very dark or evil, and these are the words human beings use, energies, attachments, intentions, and doing, quote, wrong deeds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We could go on all day about that kind of languaging, but we will say the judgment that comes in about the ones who are doing that participation, even those we will call people or energies or entities or beings are a part of the whole big game picture. And everything, and we know this is a trigger, we will say it anyway, so you can work to dissolve the trigger, so you can understand and see a broader perspective. Even those parts, even those people, participations, entities, energies, actions, etc., are perfection. You all make these incredibly amazing and powerful agreements to participate together. And some of you dress up as the ones who play the dark ones. And some of you dress up as playing the light ones. And we, neutrality that we are, Osairah, family of light, understanding. And we may say family of light in this way because ultimately that is all there is. But to play the game, there are ways that you have to participate to actually have the game happen. And so when we say this to you, we open that door of the possibility of you experiencing to say to yourself on some level, there is only perfection here. If there is only perfection here, and this is kind of the dialogue we would offer you to give to yourself, if there is only perfection here, then there is perfection here. If there is only perfection here, then there is perfection here. So that must mean on some level that what is happening outside of me, ultimately, there's a perfection in it. That must mean there's a perfection within me. That does mean too, that even those darker places within you, those sad places within you, those places where you want to grow, or the blocks where you can feel there's hardness or tightness or sadness or grief, whatever that looks like, there is the opportunity for you to melt that off and step greater into that which you wish to experience. And on the flip side, as they say, the same holds true for those who are playing on the dark side. They are getting just as much of the growth process as what you are getting if you're playing on the light side or if you're playing on the dark side. We are only speaking about this in this way, this day, because we know that what is happening in your physical world can be plugged into this way. You can easily shift into it being right and wrong, good and bad, light and dark. This camp over here is righter than that camp. And that separation, that aspect of the duality that you are all plugged into at a certain level is what is changing. Some of you have said to us, will this change in my lifetime, Osairah? Will this shift really change in my lifetime? And we say we have high hopes with a big smile, because we see each and every day more of you and you, more of you and you, more and more and more and more and more and more of you, waking up to the call of your high heart and the truth of the divinity, that which is in you. Regardless of the side you are playing on, there is something magnificent happening here. So routing yourself back into the singularity of the connection of all that is. If you can stand in your own strength of power to remember the magnificence of the love creation that you are, no matter how you have veered, no matter what it has looked like, what you have created or what you have not created, the personal responsibility is to recognize that you are a part of the whole. And then to love that which you are, to truly say, this is precious. This is so precious. Can you remember how you are precious? That this life force, the ray of light coursing through the beingness, no matter what you are in creation with, no matter what your neighbor is in creation with, there is life force here. And in that life force, there is literal creation. And you are that creation. They are that creation. But they and you are one and the same. Ultimately, you're all creation. So when you can boil that down and sit at the bottom rung and realize from your heart and soul of the infinite intelligence that you're a part of, well, I guess my mantra needs to be and is, I am love. Energetically saying that, being that, living that, remembering that in every single possible scenario you can conjure, and you will. Being that changes your energetic field in any and every situation. You will begin to operate this physical vehicle, mindset, creation potential differently by carrying that mantra, by carrying those three words, by declaring energetically into the infinite intelligence of creation that you are participating in. You will change the resonation, the frequency, and the vibration that you are calibrating yourself to on a regular basis. And that will go out and change your experiential world of form, people, certain situations, experiences, and life outside of you, seemingly outside of you. And then there becomes the frequency matches. And then there comes what many of you call the flow. And the flow becomes your life. And as it becomes your life, the flow, and you remember I am love, and you're beaming that, and it literally becomes the cellular makeup of your experience. You live in a new reality. You live in the creation frequency of pure potentiality. You become that which you have already always been, and that which you are becoming, aligned into the perfect alignments of the golden now moment of the flow that you are here to live. The flow, ultimately, with the I am presence, creates what so many of you are yearning for. Joy. Complete and utter joy. And we know so many of you have yet to even feel the full maximum possibilities of what that is, what that energetic frequency, tonality is, the tone of joy, moving and reverberating through the body form of the life and the consciousness of the soul being that you are. It has been muddled down. It has been cut off. Many human beings don't know what the feeling of joy is, but it is there for you. It is within you. It can be resurrected. You can feel and be and live in that kind of space again and still and into all existence. And it comes from these basic things we have just said and tried to lay out. Your personal value and remembrance of your self-worth and love. That is inherent within you. Just by way of that, please see, you are in a physical body. You are in a physical body. You have not left the earthly plane in remembrance of who you really are. You are still in the physical body. When you step off that physical body, we've had this conversation many times. We know many of you have heard it, but when you have that moment, when you make that choice, when you step out of the physical body, however that looks for this lifetime of your choosing, you have that moment of reconciliation and remembrance. That's right. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. You're right. I did. Oh, wow. I forgot. And then you get to remember, and then you get to see, and then you calculate in a certain kind of way. You take assessment of, wow, did I do it? Did I do it? Did I, let me look. Did I do all those things that I went there for in that body, in that lifetime? I got a lot of them. I did a lot of them. Ooh. I got moments of joy. Yes. I did. I set out to do some of that. I did it. And there are also places where you say, ooh. I didn't quite get that piece. Maybe I would like to do that one again. And really, at the same time as you are ultimately kind of off the physical body, in the remembrance of the allness of the creation, of the infinite intelligence of the true source, however you call that, God, Goddess, Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, Allah, Buddha, we don't care how you, Sophia, we don't care how you call it. You are it, and it is you. You are creation. And when you are making the assessment of the lifetime you have just lived as the highest self of the soul self, of the oversouls that you are in connection to, you recognize that one stream called this lifetime. And there you make those assessments. And at the same time, multidimensionally, it's a way to say it, you are in recognition of all that you are oversouled in the connections to, that you are a part of. You recognize other worlds, other lifetimes, all the simultaneous realities of existence. You recognize yourself as the infinite intelligence, and that there is literally zero separation. Just for these words, just for this remembrance, if you can take that even in an inch today and ponder with that which we just laid out and said, take that in to the soul, to the heart, to the vibrational field, to the cellular makeup of the magnificence that this body is, that this connection is, that this intelligence is, that your intuition is, that your psychic self is, that the many bodies of all the bodies that you are carrying, and ultimately the trinity of your emotional body, your physical body, your spirit body, the way in which you are the heart and soul of life. If you can take that all in, what we have just said of the magnitude that you are, an inch, ponder, let it settle, remember. By doing so, incrementally, day by day, remembering that the white noise can be the celestial song of your infinite growth and potentiality, that you can bring that into the consciousness, and that you can call yourself to the I am presence, and you can, I am love. And you can drop into your heart and remember your worthiness. As you do these things, we say do them in the active form of action, sacred action in your life on a daily basis. Don't just listen to that which we are saying in this moment and say, oh, that was nice, some good information. I felt like I heard some of that. Go back to daily life, go back to doing your chores, go back to playing the games that you play, go back and forget this moment. No, we are saying take this as the deep offering and teaching that it is, the wisdom codes that are being laid at your feet and asked to be integrated into your body so that you can remember on a daily basis, so that you become the embodiment of this frequency, so that when you go out into the world of the experience of that which you are creating, that vibration is the energy that you are. It literally is permeated into the cells and the consciousness of the being who walks around on the earth, and people feel it, and people see it, and people recognize it. And it's not for an ego gratification that they recognize it. You're not looking for it for that. You are being that. You are being the love. You are being the light. You are being the wisdom of all of creation. You are being in the remembrance. And there is nothing on this earth more attractive than one who is being free in the remembrance of the light and the love that they are. You all see it. And when you see it in others, it offers you the remembrance that it is possible for that to become the isness of you. We know you're capable of this. So don't just listen to what we are saying, think this was a good offering, say, oh, I love Osairah, it felt so nice, it felt so good. Well, we say, yes, wonderful, yes, wonderful, yes, wonderful. How wonderful, yes, wonderful. And we say then too, take it in and do it. Do it. Be in the action of it. I am in the action and the sacred remembrance of the trinity of my heart and the soul aspect and the infinite intelligence that is the I am presence. I am love. I remember to love myself. I remember to honor, give reverence, respect, care, consideration to this being, that which I am, which is a life force. For when it decides, and I decide at a higher level, which I'm not cognizant of at this moment, to leave my body, I will have wanted to give and be and become all that I really am through this body. So start now. Make it a practice. Hear the celestial music of the infinite intelligence asking you to be responsible and personally responsible for your creations. Be that big. Remember to do it. Hold that space. And when things come and happen outside of you that maybe you don't like, or you think, oh, look at me, I've created something, and this is something I don't like. Bang, bang, bang on me. We say, no. If that happens, just remember to love yourself again. Oh, I created that. Isn't that interesting? A part of me wanted to experience something like this. There is a an unattached way you can experience that, but take personal responsibility too. The word comes out. We hear this word sometimes these days. The words are conversation of spiritual bypassing. You won't be spiritually bypassing if you take personal responsibility for your creation without beating yourself up. There is an unattached way that you can look upon these creations that maybe you haven't liked so much and say, well, look, that's fascinating. Look what I did. It's like a child who goes out into the sandbox and maybe make some things. And we will say it like this, making some really wonderful castles, taking all these things, and then maybe goes and gets something that he or she is not supposed to from his mother's bedroom and takes it and puts it out there. And that's not right what he was supposed to do. Or even, we're going to give a funny one. Some of you might laugh at this. Then, or the child goes out and says, "Ooh, I want to add this to my new castle," and puts the dog dung on the castle, the sand castle he has created. And so then the parent comes out and says, "Oh, look what you have created. It has dog dung on it. That's not such a good creation." And there's not to be shame in that. This was a open-hearted experience of creation. It is the same for all of you. It really is. You don't understand that deep down underneath it all, you are just wanting the experience. But it is judgment you put on it as good and bad. The experience is just the experience, especially for your growth. However, well, not just especially, it is for your growth. Ultimately, it is all for your growth. Even the things that seem to be the hardest, the worst, much worse than dog dung, we would say. Things that some of you have gone through extreme experiences that you maybe even barely survived in a physical body or an emotional body. And yet, this is where we come back to the grace of love that you can offer yourself. The grace of love that you can offer yourself for the creations that were even the harsh ones. And say, how can I grow? What did I gain? How can I let go? How can I forgive? What does this bring me to make me brighter, bigger, more full of love, more in the opportunity of the flow of remembering who I really am, of all that we really are, of the creation of the golden light, of that which is creating this experience called literally the source. I am that. And if you can remember that while simultaneously seeing the things that maybe you haven't liked so much, you can slough off those things and create in a new way again. And remember who you are, and then create these things and be that and be this and do it as a sacred action in the world. As you do it as a sacred action in the world, your experience changes. It is an inner and outer play. You are doing it together. Mm-hmm. 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 We are recognizing that this is dropping into many of you, into your hearts, into your minds, into your spirits and souls, into the remembrance. And we are overjoyed. We are recognizing the way in which these particular frequencies of language are landing, and we are happy that it is indeed landing. We say to you, it looks to be like we have brought in this piece that seems to be very much a plug in for the next days and weeks to come with your life. The plug in of your life to expand. Try to remember that the more you expand yourself internally, the more you do the works outside of yourself. The more you are willing to frequency-wise hold frequencies and move through them with energy and let them go, not get them stuck, not resist them, not fight against them, not drink them away or play them away or sex them away or however it is. If you allow yourself to feel them and let them move through you, they go into a new configuration of frequency. Allow yourself to feel all that you are and all that you can create, all that you be. As you be the beingness that you are, you clarify the signature that you have come to give and offer into the world. When we speak of saying, we recognize your soul signature, you came with a certain kind of frequency, to be and participate, to offer, to give, and to learn, to shine, to show up, and support. You have come with a particular code for this lifetime. The more you center in and remember that's what you're here to do, the more you expand the potentials for your expansion in the life experience, and you can wake yourself up in it while doing so. We also say to you, we recognize that this has been a lot. We know that we have been blasting some of you. We know we have been speaking very specifically and directly and connecting certain codes for some of you that are very, very important. We are overly, overly, overly happy for this opportunity. We really say to you, you are truly magnificent beings of consciousness and light. You are love. You are the infinite intelligence, and you are the creation. Let that not stand inside of you in a way that the ego takes hold of and says, oh, I'm superior, I'm this, I'm that, I am these things. Well, yes, declare them. Declare them, be them, live them, offer them, move them into the consciousness of this one. When it is truly moved into the consciousness of the oneness that you are as a physical embodiment, it doesn't come out in the egoic sense. It is humbly given and synthesized within, and then it just is. It becomes the beingness, the isness of the one you are, the self that you are, the I am presence that you are. There need not be a big declaration standing on a mountaintop commanding. Well, you might want to do it because it's fun, because the game is like that as well. But at the same time, it doesn't be that you have to declare it to the world so that you get the acclamation for the validation. The validation comes directly in. It is known. It is known. It is known within you. And then it bees you. We hope that this has made a whole lot of good sense to you and has definitely dropped in and landed. We see to say at this moment, though we have brought in certain kinds of themes or topics, we would like to open it up and see in this moment if there are any of you who have questions. Indeed.
Hi, Osairah.
Greetings, dearest one.
Greetings. I don't see any questions from anyone on the call right now, but I did have one question that came in before the call, if you're open to that.
Indeed.
Okay, this question, this is from Vicky, and she has written, since the eclipse and the storms, I feel the energy exchange in the world and in myself. I feel everything now, like there's nothing stopping the energy, and I feel the wholeness in it. I also feel the energy going counterclockwise. It's opening me up and I feel freer. And so she asks, is this energy opening us up so that we can become more powerful, or so that we can shift from one dimension to another, or both, or something else?
Thank you, Vicky, for the question and in the acknowledgement of all that you have been experiencing and feeling. We say yes, 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 and right on. And then we say, in regards to the energy, it is here for the shifting of this time energetically on your earth. The sensitive, we don't mean this to be exclusive, but especially the ones who are sensitive, who are feeling these things at a very deep level, emotionally or otherwise. There is a shift point that this energy is creating. How shall we say? How do we want to say that? Also, Lara, can you say that last piece of the question? Because we heard the power part, but we want to stop on the power part, and then we're going to ask you the other part. It's not so much about having power, Vicky. It is about being the embodied power that you are. Most human beings shirk away from, shrink from their own empowerment, their own power. You've been taught systematically from basically, from on certain levels, from birth, and we will say historically, thousands of lifetimes, thousands and thousands and thousands of lifetimes, to a certain extent, at a certain point, you have been, how should we say, corralled into not acknowledging, knowing, or fully owning your incredible true power as beings, as God consciousness. Please hold. Indeed, 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 indeed. This physical body is encountering some incredible. We are going to step aside for a moment, please. Greetings, beloved one. I am that one you know as the Divine Mother Mary, and I say to you that my energetic desire and pull towards our beloved channel is pulling this consciousness directly to each one of you for your opportunity to stand in the light of the divine force of the Mother. And I say this directly in this moment very particularly because this beloved channel was coursing through extraordinary amounts of energy in the moment before. And as I came forward, there was a potential that the physical body was going to lose consciousness. And so in this moment, I expressed to align very strongly to the beloved one, this daughter of mine for throughout timelines and so much of the lineage. And so I say to each one of you, I come forth with a direct message and a recognition that I am here to stand in the power force center, not only through the beloved channel, but also through each one of your hearts. I say and I declare, I decree, standing at the precipice of the light force energy that is here within and through all of each one of you, every one of you who is listening or being in presence with this moment, I say to you, I hold in and through you the force of many names of the Divine Mother. I call the remembrance to your heart and to your soul. For it is that there is a change upon this earth. And it is not just through the consciousness of the people, the women, the men, the children. It is through your earth. She too is quite literally a conscious being. You are all in this together. I am also in this with you, in the many names and the many faces. For the overlighting soul remembrance of your heart is what is calling you to the forefront of the power of the embodied remembering that you are. My love for you each is so incredibly drawn to the planet at this time. My love for you each is drawn to the heart and soul and the memory of each one of you now. And so I say, with such a force and a power to hold you just like a mother does. At my heart, dearest ones, I say to you, my heart, my sacred heart, is your heart. My love for you is eternal. You and I reside as one. What you see outside of yourself is an experience of the form of creation as it needs to be on this experience of earth. Let it not sway you. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Stand firm in that strength. Remember my voice. Remember my love. Remember my heart. You and I and we walk this golden road together. You are eternal, and my eternal light, eternal flame is yours. I declare your infinite remembrance of the Sacred Heart. Each to you, in this moment, there is only grace of the love that you are. I am with you, my beloveds. I am with you. I love you each. Hi. Okay, that's right. Hold on. Hi, everyone. I see all of this has happened. It's a little different today, that's for sure. I'm going to go away for a moment more with Osairah coming back. Here comes. Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Indeed, we are called to come forward again into the alignment to recognize this moment. Dearest ones, we are extraordinarily grateful for the opportunity that we were able to move aside. There was a powerful influx of light and information that needed to move through our beloved channel. And the beloved channel's upgrades actually happened right before your eyes. And we are wanting to acknowledge that and say in extraordinary gratitude, appreciation, and indeed recognition, dearest one. There it is. Thank you. And so we also want to return to the last portion of the conversation and the piece of the information of the question for our beloved dearest one and recognizing Vicky. There it is. So the recognition of the power is that it is not necessarily only for you to have power. It is that you are power, that you are to remember your fullness of that power and for you to carry that power in light, in lightness, actually, not as a power source to push through, to be in the lightness of the power. And then, dearest Laura, can you ask us the last part of her question again?
The last part of the question was, okay, is this energy opening us up so we can become more powerful or so that we can shift from one dimension to another, or
Perfect.
both?
We love this question, dearest Vicky, and we say the reason why it is because this is what we are talking about. Yes, and yes. We are talking about that entirety earlier. The entire download transmission, how you speak of it, was exactly that last portion. You are integrating multiple timelines. You are many of you are experiencing the way the shift of this planet, the energies have been happening. Your lives, some of you, dismantling completely. The interior landscape seems to be lost to many of you. You don't know, in many ways, who you are, and that is okay. There is a place within you that is melting off those things, those factions, those identifiers, those inner experiences of who you have thought you were to be, or to that you are, is melting off, is shifting, is rerouting, is dismantling, and it is perfect. Because yes, you are learning to understand that there is far more going on here, and that is what this multidimensional integration is. Some of you speak about this and have been for years. We even spoke about it for many years, about the idea of moving into a fifth dimensional consciousness. what we would like to say about that is so many of you are experiencing to live like that. But that does not need to be something that you walk around speaking about. It's not to say, oh, see, look at me. I'm declaring that I'm living in a fifth dimensional consciousness. That would be from the ego. What happens when a person is multidimensionally surfing and integrating, when you are recognizing there is more here, when you are expanding the spirit and the soul, you don't have to necessarily see different dimensional beings or different dimensions necessarily. Some of you will. You can feel them. You can have a spiritual enlightenment to recognize, there is definitely more going on here. And you can integrate those in a way within the physical body, emotional body, spirit body within you personally as the I am present to what it will be perfectly working in a working way for you, that which your oversoul came to be. That's why in this shift point time, you are all doing this work. Well, most of you. There are plenty of people who are what we would say, not with judgment, but we are saying still asleep. That's okay. You're going through it so that you can carry the codes, carry the light, carry the torch, carry the remembrance, so that you can reflect it back to those who are still kind of in the sleep state. And that's okay. That's a part of the game too, remember? And so as you carry those codes, as you remember it, as you wake yourself up, as you be standing in the fifth dimensional consciousness, recognizing, whoa, I'm having to have some equilibrium balancing here. Who am I? How am I? How do I hold this? How do I integrate? Where is the self-love that connects me to all the infinite intelligence of the presence of all that there really is? As you do that, be that, as the shift of energies on your earth that seems to be creating stuff outside of you is actually creating the stuff within you. As you integrate that and as you hold that, power comes naturally, but it is not an extroverted power. It's the life source. It's the light source that pushes in a most beautiful, easeful, graceful way into the world. And that translates very often as love, as light, as codes of goodness, of service, of the ways that you present as you give, you offer, you shine, while still learning and living the lessons that you've come to learn, live, and grow and expand and experience and move into. And you will firmly anchor some of those multidimensional codes standing in the fifth dimension, not needing to declare it from an ego stance. You will be it, as we said earlier. You will be it. As you be it, it will move outside to the world of form in the experience that you are collaboratingly co-creating with each other. And the right divine forces will magnetize towards you and you towards them. That is the game you are playing. And this shift point, as you say, the eclipse, has been a very potent opportunity. It is definitely, we have said it before, it is an opportunity, and it's actually quite a golden opportunity for many of you, but that doesn't always look that way. It's a lot of melting off, a lot of what you would say, the transmutation, the alchemy that is happening is transmutation, so the transformation can happen. You have to allow it. And as you allow it, you move into the greater spaces of your I am presence. And as you do that, there's a humble knowing, and the flow begins to show before your eyes, and you guide yourself by being guided by the infinite intelligence, and you follow the beautiful golden breadcrumbs. And as you do that, dearest one, the light in you reflects into the world, and the changes happen and are happening. And in time, maybe even in another lifetime, you will know this to be the case, the truth, the experience of that which you have paved as a part of your reality experience. And as you do this, dearest ones, you anchor continuously more and more light. So be all that we have said. Remember all that we have said. Do the sacred actions of all that we have said. Don't just leave it here in this moment. Practice. Practice. Allow. Surrender. Receive. Practice. 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 Allow. Surrender. Receive. Practice. 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 Allow. Surrender. Receive. This is the way. We do hope this has been most helpful. We are ever eternally, overly ecstatic for the opportunity to come forth, to drop these moments in with you in your timeline. We are always eternally grateful for both of you, our beloved channel, and Lara for this participation, and each one of you that shows up and all of you who are listening. We are here with you. We are a part of you. You are a part of us. We are coming back in what you would call our past. We are your future. We are coming to you to help you remember, to hold up the mirror and to say, yes, 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 yes. Remember the light, walk this way. And here we are. We look forward to more. We bid you those most loving and happy and magical adieu. Hi, everyone. I feel a little speechless today after that. I hope it was landing with you all very good. I hope there were some questions, or if there wasn't, that it was wonderful. You all loved it. I'm very aware, though, that Mother Mary came through, and that might be new for some of you, actually. And it is actually new on our live monthly group experience here. Some of you may not even have known that I channel Mother Mary, I'm not sure. And I look forward to hearing, maybe your thoughts or comments. If you want to email me or anything. What I'm noticing, and for some of you who know me and who sat with me for channelings or who've done this, most of you have actually, is that when I come back, I have a lot of awareness and my own abilities. I'm a little out of it. I'm really quite out of it this time, and I'm not exactly sure why, although I feel a lot of things that's happening to my physical body. So this is a little different, I will say. I'm good. Nothing's to be alarmed about. I'm just noticing I'm really, I want to say expanding and not fully grounded. So I will get grounded. But I feel that there's something that Mother Mary came in with or brought that was very potent and very specific and very powerful. Might have been to me as well, and no doubt to all of you. But my gifts, when I come back, my clairvoyance, my clairaudience, and my clairsentience, just literally the density of our third dimension gets really heightened. It gets really lifted, and I'm really plugged in right now. And I'm just going to let that be. This is a very different experience today. So I want to say thank you to all of you who are here. Is there anybody who might like to, because it was a little bit of a different channeling, is there anybody here who might like to ask a question of me, or or because I'm here. Just thought I'd ask. If you want to type in a little something. If not, I think we'll soon wrap it up. It's always wonderful to kind of coalesce, to kind of come around and bring our circle back together in this reality with each other. So, I'm noticing my mascara on a practical level. Okay, so if there's no questions or thoughts or anything anybody wants to share.
Grace, it looks like one just popped up.
Okay.
Can you see that on the right, or?
I can't.
Okay.
In fact, I don't see all the people on either. That's what's interesting. I can see how many are registered, but I don't even see how.
We are having some funny tech issues this week. But there's a question from Alana. Grace, how is that for you when Mother Mary comes in for you?
Oh, thanks for the question. And I now finally do see the chat. Thank you. Oh, that's nice to see that. I've been living like in oblivion before. Now I see the chat. Jeez. technical things. They're just not my thing. Thanks, Alana. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the call and asking the question. It's absolutely wonderful and beautiful. And so today was a little interesting and a little bit different, but not in a negative way at all. But when Mother Mary comes in, I can express to you the thing that I feel the most, which is literally unbounded compassion and love. It's nothing that I can ever say I've ever actually really felt in this world from myself or from another person. It's an energy that is not quantifiable in relationship to people. I don't know. And I felt some really true, deep, powerful, beautiful love. But it is, I feel that wash through me. And then I also sort of step aside and I'm still connected. And so I feel like in some ways I'm just getting this beautiful download and golden bath of light, of love and compassion. So I guess that's how it is for me. It's not difficult. Sometimes I come back and I have a lot of emotion. And I actually think that when I'm having the emotion, I think that's a way that her energy is actually in my physical body and with me and connected to me and is actually clearing those maybe blocked emotions or feelings. That's what I think the emotions when I come back with. But it's also, I mean, if you can imagine, anybody's ever really sat in front of even on earth, there are people who you can go in front of and be with who you feel this kind of power and love with. I don't know. But I don't know if I've ever felt it on the earth. So that's what I would say to that. I will say too that there was an experience within this channeling that was very, very, very different, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but an energy. This is what it was. There was an energy that kind of just totally took over, and then she came in. But it doesn't usually work like that, so I'm not sure why it was like that. Oftentimes, there's just Osairah recognizes that there's maybe someone else, or maybe it's Mother Mary or someone else that wants to speak, and if there's an agreement to that, then they acknowledge that they're going to step away, and then there's a moment and there's a transition, and then Mother Mary comes in. This, in an energetic way, didn't feel that same way to me today, and that's what's interesting. I felt some bigger energies, much bigger. So I feel like maybe I was getting I want to say the word, it feels like they're saying recalibration or an upgrade or up leveling or something like that. So you guys got to witness it. Geez. Oh, sometimes I don't like that. But okay. That's the way it is. Vulnerability. Anybody else got a question or a thought? Or, okay, I'm seeing some of your, oh, thank you, you guys. What a wonderful thing. Thank you. We love you. We're just blessed to have you. I really appreciate that. That all really actually means so much to me. You just don't know. Really, it means so much to me. Thank you. I appreciate your sharing and your reflections of support and gratitude and love for me and for this opening of this channel to bring it through. Yeah, I really do. So if nobody else has any other thoughts or questions, thank you all so much for being here. I'm really grateful. Really, really grateful. Thanks for hanging with us through the technical challenges. And Laura and I are going to be working on that. We're going to probably, for those of you who are actually here on the monthly, not just the one time this time, hope you want to come back and be on it monthly too. But we're going to be changing our way that this goes out to you. So it's going to be streamlined. It's going to be easier. So look for our emails. Most of you know that sometimes the emails are going into promotions box, especially in Gmail. So you kind of have to check your promotions box often, or try to figure out how to flag it so it goes into your primary box. That's all I know right now about that. And if there's anything else we find out, we'll be sending out information about that. And this is recorded, and so you will get the recording so you can watch and listen again. So I send you my love and gratitude and a big hug to every one of you for being here. It's really my honor. I'm grateful for you to be connected to me and spread the word so that we can spread the light and live in a way that feels really awesome, right? So much love. So much love. Talk to you guys soon. See you next month. Bye.